What's up, y'all? LTJ Reads is here. This is throwing light, and if you're not throwing light, you're not acting right. This is episode 175. Before we get started, remember 2020, part of 2025, and most of 2026 has been like this building up and building up of so much. So you can go to my YouTube channel. You can just do LTJ is here, like on my Instagram, to see all the throwing light interviews. We're at 175, right? And then we have the throwing light tour. The New Orleans tour is going to be up in a little bit. You're going to have all the Texas panels that I did at the end of 2025. You've got New York, San Francisco. You've got the AKW panel, IML, POC caucus, and New Orleans is going to be up this week. And we're going to be heading to Fort Lauderdale August 29th at the Eagle at 7 p.m. So you'll keep watching me for more info on that. We're going to have a stellar panel. With that being said, follow my YouTube channel. All right, let's get to our next guest. We have got your current Mr. Texas Leather, Rodrigo, who I had an opportunity to actually meet over a year ago at the Camp Nacti um,
Campground
event,
event.
whatever
Yeah,
that
it
was.
was at the time they call it Kings and Links weekend. Now it's Night to King weekend.
It's what now?
Night to King weekend?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So where you competed and you won the Sash Friend of Nacti, right? We were in that competition together.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing, so.
Oh, I don't think anybody was
But look, let me tell
doing
you this though. This is what I know about you because I've seen you give a speech twice now, and you do have a way of like just emoting in a way or speaking in a way that I think you humanize yourself very well when you speak in a way that is relatable to people. Um, when you get up on the stage and you're speaking, I know that somehow you're going to relate it to your personal experience or in a way that people will admire and things like that. So you have had the sash since April.
Yep, April 18th, I think, was the night.
So Rodrigo, you're based in San Antonio
Yes.
and you are a San Antonio Leatherman.
Yes, I am for a little over 2 years now.
2 years, okay. That's about when it formed, right? 3 years, two, three.
Uh, it formed the year before in January or something like that, but at that time there were like 10, 15 people, and we've grown exponentially. We're like close to 200 people now.
I know y'all got a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's really inspiring. I hope we can mobilize the other cities the way that you guys are. I think that's
And it's not just that, I feel like it's the variety of folks that we have there, is what really makes it so rich and so special. You
hmm
see anyone from 21, which is the lowest age that we have there, you have to be an adult to be part of it, all the way to people in their 70s. So yeah, we got a lot of histories there.
No, that's great. That's fantastic. You do have a lot of histories there. Let's backtrack a little bit before all of this. Rodrigo, before you became a San Antonio Leatherman, what were you doing?
Well, so I'm originally from Cuba. I came to the United States in at the end of 2022, but I feel like I was kinky before that. You know, when they say, "Are you born gay or you turn gay?" I think it's the same way with kinky. Um, I think my first experiences I had it when I was like 12 or 13 years old, and ever since it's been there. But I didn't get the chance of exploring it. Until 2021 when I went to Moscow, yeah, Moscow, Russia, and I spent 3 months there. And it was the first time that I went to a bathhouse, that I went to a gear party, that I got to really experience it what it was.
In Russia, of all
Yes,
places.
of
That's
all places,
of
yeah.
all places, Russia. Well,
You
that's
know, being a
sad to say.
Cuban is kind of like we're limited on where we can go, and Russia was the one place that we didn't need a visa to go to, and I had the money and I had the opportunity, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go there. At that time, I had no idea that I was gonna end up here. Um, I always told myself I have to do something big in my life before I turn 30, and it was moving to the US because I moved in October and I turned 30 in December, but I didn't know that that's what was gonna be.
Wow. So, I mean, you're like literally brand new over here. And then that's so fascinating to talk about two countries like we don't talk a lot about socially here in terms of relationships, which is Cuba and Russia. And to think now, let's backtrack. Russia is kind of tightening down on the LGBT community there, right? Like,
So
how were
what
you
I yeah.
able to find that? Or I don't know what it's like, but I
Mhm.
know that they are they're a little anti, right?
Yeah. Oh, they are a lot.
Yeah.
So here's what I learned from the people there, because you cannot really believe everything that you read online. And I got the chance of meeting a bunch of Russian people, mostly younger guys. And there is this thing from what they told me. The rich people there are all part of the Orthodox Church and they hate gays and all that, but are the same people that own the bathhouses, the nightclubs, and all of that. So they don't like gays, but they like gay money. So they will take all their money, but they don't want to give them the rights. Like, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
mess. But
Yeah.
coming from Cuba, I totally understood that. It was the same thing. So yeah,
That's
it was no
like
surprise.
here in the United States now. It's the same thing. They'll take money for sure.
Hmm.
Because you think about it, why would you want to give your money to somewhere that doesn't accept you or recognize you as a person? That's the messed up part, that they can take your money or they demand your money or expect your money, but they don't want to treat you like a human being.
Yep.
Coming from Cuba, so when did you move to the United States?
October 2022. So it was like I left Cuba
Okay,
October
so you've been
8th.
here 4 years.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I arrived here 20 days later. It was like a total
What,
journey.
how, why? Okay, so what happened that you ended up over in the United States?
Um, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have a bad life there. I had my own business, but I did not agree with the government there, and I was not silent about it. So in Cuba, when you express yourself, they come and repress yourself. And I ended up having to leave because they would knock on my door, people from the government, and say things like, "You have the chance of leaving before we make you go, and not necessarily somewhere else." So yeah, I decided to fly to Nicaragua and then cross countries. I crossed like 4 countries in order to make it to the US, but I made it.
What was the transition like? Like, what did you have to go through to get here?
So we cannot come directly here, right? So the way that it works with the Cuban government, every certain amount of years, we refer as Cuba as a pressure cooker. You know how it has that little thing on top, and then it starts like cooking, and the pressure starts building up, and then every now and then the government that does this, psh, and so that little action that they take is allowing people to have visas to certain country. And in 2020, they started giving visas for Nicaragua. So we would just like fly to Nicaragua as a tourist, get I think it was like a 15-day permit. But most people didn't come back. So you will have, like people waiting for you there, and then you start your journey to the country. So I went from Nicaragua to Honduras, crossing all the mountains, to Guatemala, to Mexico, and then I crossed from Tijuana to San Diego.
So when you crossed, like, what happened when you came across the American border? What was that like?
No, man, it was so I remember being in Tijuana, and you can when you look in the horizon, you see the skyline of San Diego. And I had never seen something like that because I have been in Moscow, but it doesn't compare. Moscow is a really old city, but San Diego has all these like skyscrapers that I had never seen in my life, and it seemed like something that you couldn't reach. And then that night when we crossed and we were in detention there because we were in detention for like 3 days. Um, in my mind, everything was like, what's gonna happen? I left my country, I left my family, I left my house, and I'm gonna start literally from scratch. What's gonna happen? It was a lot of like uncertainty, but at the same time, I knew that it was a fresh start. So that's what was in my mind. It is a new opportunity for you to do anything that you were not allowed to.
Okay, so what do you have a visa now?
So now I am a permanent resident. So I have my green card.
You have a
But
green
I
card.
started from like undocumented to work permit to green card.
Okay. So when you first got here, like, and you were in San Diego, like, where did you go? Like,
So
how'd you get
I
in the
have,
States?
yeah, I had a friend in San Francisco.
Okay.
So that's where I lived for the first 7, 8 months before I moved to San Antonio.
What made you
But
come
yeah,
to San Antonio?
work. So I started work at a cleaning company from the bottom, cleaning for events. And then not long after, I got a position as a supervisor. And then in April, they offered me to come to San Antonio for 2 weeks, everything paid. Um, and then I came, and the rest is history. I've been here since then.
So what's it like being in San Antonio? How do you feel about the culture there? I love San Antonio. I absolutely do. I really do.
Well, so San Antonio is special in many ways, and it will always be. It is a place where, I met my chosen family, that is the San Antonio Leathermen. It is a place where I found love, and I ended up marrying, my husband, Alex. Um, it is also a place that gave me new opportunities, where I became sober, where I then stopped smoking, where I then stopped drinking. So regardless what happens, San Antonio is always gonna have a really special place in my heart.
So now that you're San Antonio, let's get back over here into your leather journey. You mentioned more kink than leather, but obviously you like both.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, so
go ahead.
before I feel like kink is something that is in your brain before you even see leather for the first time, you know? It's like all those feelings that you have being a teenager, but you cannot really uh, understand what they mean. And
Mhm.
then leather is the armor that you put on while you're performing all that. Or at least that's the way that I see it. I
So
would
when
say more
you
like now I'm
where
more
were you
Berlin
when you put
and
on
low-key
leather for the
creativity, but that's
when
it.
you, so were you in Moscow when you put on leather for the first time?
Uh, Not really.
So San Antonio is where you put on leather for the first time.
No, it was Cuba actually.
Okay.
So my friend, this friend that I had in San Francisco, I talked to him about all these things, and he sent me my first harness. So my very first harness, and like how do you call it, compression-ish thing that I had. He brought it from here to Cuba, and I had it there.
That's fascinating. So now that you're here in San Antonio and you have journeyed, you are now a leather title holder.
I am.
And that's great. Like that's great that you're able to achieve that. Before we get a little bit into that, what made you want to what made you want to join the Leatherman?
So by the time I met people from the Leatherman, I was already like, wearing gear at home and reading a lot online and watching videos. So I felt like, hey, this is a bunch of people that look cool, they feel cool, they dress cool. I want to join them. I had no idea what a leather club was, to be honest. I had no idea. I just knew that it was people that I was gonna feel safe around, because when you're wearing this, people tend to look at you in a different way. It is not the same when you wear leather at a regular bar than when you do it at the leather bar. It's a totally different setup, right? So that's what made me join them. But what I have discovered afterwards, it's what really is making me stay, right? It's all the community, all the family, all the events that you have, like Christmas and Thanksgiving. So even though I don't have a family here, well, I do with my husband now, but he's part of them too. I get to celebrate and experience all these American traditions.
So were a part of the Leatherman, and then you decided that you were going to run for Mr. Texas. What made you feel ready for that?
So as you're saying, let's go back a little bit. This was not the first competition that I competed for.
Okay, what was your
Um,
first?
Yeah, so after I did Friend of Nagti and I won, I was kind of like in the hype of the moment. And a couple weeks later was Mr. Alamo City, that is
Okay.
a San Antonio leather competition. And someone from the Leatherman told me, "Hey, you should go, you should do it, go, go, go." And I was like, "No, no, no." But well, I ended up doing it again. I had no idea what it was. I thought that it was gonna be something like Fred of Nazi, that it was gonna be just silly, get up on stage and that's it. And it was nothing like that. Um, when we got to the interview part, um, and they started asking me questions about leather, I realized that I was just not ready for it, you know? And I remember I told myself, um, I'm gonna get some time and I'm gonna be ready and I'm gonna do my homework and learn. And next time when I decide, I don't know when it is, but when I decide, I'm gonna do, I don't know if I'm gonna win, but I'm gonna do much better than now. And that's what happened, I guess.
The Texas contest, that stage and doing that. Good for you to be able to, because that was similar to my story. I won my second time. Oh, where I competed. Yeah, and I learned, felt like when I competed the first time, I wasn't in my own leather. Um, I didn't, the people didn't know me, and so I didn't win. But I got up there and still people respected me and I was still able to be memorable. And it just felt so, I competed for Mr. Texas in 2023.
Hmm.
And then I did get it. And I was like, you know what, Lewis, you know what? We're going to chill. Just put the work in the community and you'll get it next year. And that at that frame, I was like, I'm just going to compete for Mr. Texas next year or whatever that. But then they opened the Eagle, and then someone just said in passing, "Hey, we're going to do the Mr. Austin Eagle contest. You should compete for it." So I was like, "Okay, like maybe I can win this one, right? Like it's new, it's an opportunity to create, I guess you could say."
Hmm.
Anywho, I competed the second time, and luckily, um, one of the judges was actually judging me for the second time, and he was the head judge and for the second time. And so I answered my questions, I was emotional, all these kind of things. And one of the other judges was concerned that maybe I was performing and that wasn't really who I was. And luckily this judge was on there and he was so impressed with the amount of growth that I had that
Hmm.
it just, because I compete against four other um, people that I know and respect, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't given to me or any of the nature of that. I had to earn that. And um, and then I got to be Mr. Austin Eagle, the first one, which is, not a bad thing to be, a legacy.
You're the patriarch of that family now.
I am, I guess.
And look at you, you're so famous.
No, I just want to set an example of just putting in the work. And I want everyone to come behind me to not feel like we are not a strong, community, strong leader. All of my successes come post my title, post IML, all of that, all of my biggest ones. Because like I came into this very young and well, not age wise, but like not knowing much,
Yes. Mhm.
and I've learned so much. This is
And
actually,
sometimes, yeah, sometimes I feel like that's what this community needs. It's an injection of like this fresh air that, people that are just willing to listen, take advice, but at the same time bring to the table their own experiences that not necessarily have to be leather related. And that's how we grow and get richer as a community. To add to what you were saying, when I competed for Mr. Texas, I saw like three or four of the judges from my previous competition, and they will come to me and tell me the same thing. Hey, the Rodrigo that got up on that stage today, it's not the same one that I judged a year ago. And
yeah.
I'm so happy for you. And I'm like, yeah, because that's what it is. You do nothing with, okay, I didn't win. Then you just go into what do you call that? An spiral of depression and don't come out of there. It is okay to be sad, because we're human. and we feel defeated, but take that defeat and nourish it and learn and be better. And as I told the people that competed with me, because I sent a message to each of them after the contest, I told them, hey, I've been there before. I know it hurts, and it's okay to feel down for a little bit, but just take everything that you learned here today. You're gonna have new leather that you wear here. You're gonna have new experiences. You're gonna have all those score sheets with all those like amazing, amazing advices that the judges are giving you, and you're gonna put them, for the next time, whenever it is. And again, you know that a title doesn't really define who you are. There is so many people that have never run for a contest and are just like the biggest stars in the leather community.
And that's a good point to make. And I try to tell people that the contest world is so small in concern to the entire leather community that we have that's global here. And a lot of people have made their way. There are several of us that have come to IML and now it's a thing of the past. But the cream rises to the top, right? You have to see who's really going to stick around and be there, because there are IMO winners that aren't here anymore. There are people that made top 20 that aren't here anymore. There are people that were in my class that I thought, just you live in this fantasy like, oh, we're gonna be together forever or this and that. Now I have those I can reach out to, but like someone I personally got close to is kind of disappeared. And so it sucks because I went through IML with that person and but the relationships change and you start rediscovering maybe some Iman brothers you weren't as close to or whatever. But look, I want to see Texas succeed, and my loyalty is to the state of Texas. So I want people to respect us. I want people to understand that we see about each other. We're in close proximity to each other. Issues that happen to us are our right to keep to ourselves and to handle as a community.
Mhm.
Rodrigo, what do you want to accomplish for the rest of your year? What are your goals?
So I have several ones, right? But one of them is I'm working to prepare an event. It's gonna be a fundraise. HIV is a cause that is really close to my heart since I'm positive. And there's two organizations here in San Antonio that I work with. One is the San Antonio AIDS Foundation, and we're preparing an event with my Sash son now from Camp Nagti, Optimus Prime, and Isaac Cardona, Mr. Alamo City Leather 2025. And at the same time, with a group called Living Positive San Antonio that they gather every Thursday. And I told myself that I'm gonna go to their meetings at least once a month because it's just a place where people like us just feel welcome and embraced and normal. And yeah, that's one of them on one side.
Do you
I
find
really, really,
go
I
ahead.
really, really, yeah, I really, really want to assist to every event that I can within the state of Texas. And there is one thing that I feel like the Texas Leather family as a whole has decided is that we need more female representation in our community. So that what happened this year that we didn't have anyone running for the Miss Texas title running doesn't happen again. But it's not just to have people there for having them, it's to have people there that really want to do it because they feel supported. Because that's what I think is a problem. There's people there, but they don't think that they're gonna have the support.
Can I say, and I mean to not be offensive to anybody, anyone, um, but people have to see representation to want representation. And people that have titles do it in different ways, and some are more visible than others. But I think what it comes down to is that people want to see someone in that position that they can relate to or see them doing things. And when you're a title holder, either you're extroverted, you're supposed to be extroverted, but like some people kind of hunker down and do their own thing sometimes, and aren't like everyone's job isn't to travel around everywhere or this and that to make it. So I think what will help all of us in the state of Texas is that we need to We need to help with the representation, but we need to promote to women. We need to talk about what a title can do for a leather woman. You know what I'm saying? How the leather woman can help other women. Like we need to talk it up so someone wants it and understands what they have and what they can do. We need a dreamer. Because look, that's what I am. I'm a dreamer. And when you can dream big, people love that. And people are contagious to that. So I think what we need to do is like, and I'll be upfront about this, for the Austin Eagle contest, I am planning to put a video together of all the Eagles. And we're going to talk about what it's like to be an Austin Eagle title holder. And I think we got to make that connection. People need to see. Um, and full disclosure of things I'm talking about, like, I want to see the future Austin Eagle title holders stick with that one title for a whole year and invest all their time and energy into that before they decide to go to another one. A lot of times you see sometimes people get a title. We see it happen in Texas, which I want to see all Texas leather contests on an equal playing field. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I want to see the respect for everyone, regardless of what their title is, because a lot of people can still go to IML, whether if they have the Texas title or not. Um, but we need to work on just making sure that, and what I was making the point is that, let's say you compete for you compete for a title in Texas, and 4 months later you compete for another you want the Mr. Texas Ash too. So what happens is that 4 months that, let's say you were Alamo City, you did that work, but maybe you had ambition to step on the Texas stage. Now, once you go to Texas and you have the Texas Ash, well, you want to be the Texas one, right? So now the Alamo City is neglected. Does that make sense? And so
Yeah,
people
yeah,
don't
I
see that.
get, yeah, I get it. I feel like something that really helped me, even though the Nike title is not a leather title as such, even though it happens in that environment because it's that specific weekend, the responsibilities are more to be an ambassador of the camp, right? But it really gave me the opportunity and the visibility to go to events and people see me and ask me and know about it. And it kind of like helped me to get out of the certain kind of like shell that I was to put me in the right spot to then run for the Texas Letter title. But when I run for this one, I was 2 weeks away from giving up my sash.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a perfect thing.
Yeah. And I look at the Camp Naggy. You could have very well held two different sashes in that regard, but you had that. And so, I'm starting to get interested in rubber. So, who knows? I
Yeah,
want to, I want to try different things in the community and stuff like that. Rodrigo, we're getting towards the end of our show. I have one last question for you. Are you ready?
go for it.
What is an aspect of our community that you feel we're not shedding enough light on?
That's hard. You left me speechless right there
Oh,
because
really?
we have been talking about female representation.
Yeah.
Um, when I look at your podcast too, I don't see a lot of that there. I
Mhm.
don't know. It doesn't have to do with you because I know you've done everything you can and more. But I feel like that's something that you could do the same way that and maybe this is the right place to pitch it in. So I'm starting to have a monthly recurrent event at the San Antonio Serat. It's gonna be called Spill the Tea. The stands for Trust, Education, and Aftercare. And I'm gonna be bringing every month people in our community to talk about what they know, what their experiences have been. And that's what I'm planning to do to bring all these females that are in the leather community here in San Antonio so that they're introduced to the other part of the community.
Yes. And that's what we need. And to go back to about representation rate, so it is not as easy to actually find. It's not. And what I'm trying to pivot to, because we're going to 200. So I'm working with a lot of leather women to do these leather panels all here virtually of just women. So we can at least create a dialogue to figure out what's going on. Believe it or not, when I even went to New York, like just sending them out, because I consider myself to be pretty networked and be able to reach out people, but it's not easy as you want. It really is not easy. And it's not that I don't, because I really want to at least try to have a woman every month on the show. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because, and I would love to have more. So it's in my mind. It's something I'm working on. But I'm really starting to have to lean on other leather women to help me do this, and that's what I'm doing right now behind the scenes. So,
Yeah, they have the contacts more than we do.
exactly. I don't, I have to depend on leather women to tell me who, and they all have their different dynamics and how they work
Yeah.
together and who they flow together. But
I feel like we cannot assume what they want. We
yeah,
have
of
to
course.
reach out and tell them what do you want, and then we help them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah. So we're going to have a leather women panel coming very soon. I would say within the next month or so. And then we're going to try to use that conversation and like bullet point what's going on, like, and try to bring that to the community and be like, look, this is how we can support women in leather in our community. This is all we need. And I've been trying to do that, Rodrigo, especially on the what's hard is just the bar and business level it's really hard for that. Because what people don't understand, I keep saying this over and over again, you have to reinvent the wheel right now. We have to do new things, new strategies, lean into being new guard. But if you make the product like a leather harness for women and you offer that product to them, you're creating business. They're going to come.
Mhm.
And this is what I said. I was like, man, why can't we just get leather makers, make a few pieces for women in the stores, let women be able to come on and try and get fitted and they can at least order what they want.
Yep.
Bars. Okay, well, women don't spend enough money in our bars, but you're not making events for women in your bars.
I
So make
remember,
it make sense. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
I,
and
I
then when they don't
worked
spend as much money, they're wealthy women.
I worked at this bar that unfortunately closed now as a bartender for some time, and they had a night, I think it was the second Thursday of every month. They have um he labeled it lesbians singles night, which not all leather women or women in our community are lesbian, but it kind of helped. And you will have like 20 or so females that would come and gather and play trivia, and it was a good time. But yeah, you're right. Even the gay bars are mostly dominated by gay male,
And they say
and
but
it is
they believe
hard.
it's for finance. They believe it's for finance. Like they want money. They don't think that's enough. And then also they don't want to make gay men uncomfortable. We have to deal with that.
I mean,
We have to deal
you
with
only can
that.
do so much,
I
If
don't
we're gonna be
understand.
accepting and wanna be accepted, we have to accept everybody. You
It's
cannot
just
be
so weird
exclusive
that
then.
it's just weird that people don't they frown upon sharing anything. Like it just sucks sometimes just to even be in this world because we could just be good to each other as much as we could be bad to each other. Look around, like everything fucking is like, from our government to Hollywood to the people are bad. These are bad people. You know what I'm saying? And I wish that we didn't just give into the culture of the entertainment and things that they produce, and we would know that there is a way to be kind, to share. It's just
I
why fucking God? Like, why do we feel like we need to be segregated? I don't
Well,
get it.
me and my husband went to a museum today, and we were, looking at art, and was this painting, everybody naked, and I was like, you see, 500 years ago, everybody was doing this, and everybody was okay with it. Now we've been sent back to the closet, and instead of like trying to open it, we just keep putting locks on it, and it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, I agree with
We
you.
say we're civilized, but we're not at all. So
No,
yeah.
we act like animals, or at least,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, obviously, look, war, all that stuff. It's animalistic behavior, right? All right, Rodrigo, thank you for being on this episode. There is one last thing that you have to do. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
So everybody, this is episode 175, and if you're not throwing light, you're not acting right.
There we go. Rodrigo's good. He can. I knew he's gonna.
See, I told you I wasn't gonna miss it.
Throw
I've watched it
lightnings.
enough,
Were you
so I
gonna? Were
don't.
you gonna go throw lightnings?
Oh my goodness. I'm
Throw
gonna go
light,
watch Thor right now. So yeah.
throw lightnings. Okay, y'all. That's been another episode of Throwing Light. We're out.